Hi everyone, I'm Chani Srivastav, and you're tuned into the Lock, Stock, and Barrel podcast. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most responsive to change that survives. If, like me, you have seen enough motivational videos online, then I'm sure that you have come across this quote by Charles Darwin. Only recently, I found that the exact origins of this quote remain shrouded in mystery. Some people trace it back to a Louisiana State University professor who speaks about Darwin in 1963, while others point to a California Academy of Science inscription in 2008, which interestingly modifies this phrase to say, and I quote, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptive to change that survives." Even though the precise origins of this quote remain unclear, the second quote makes more sense as one's ability to adapt far outweighs one's ability to respond to changing circumstances. If you think about it, this quote has profound implications for individuals, societies, organizations, and the entire human race alike. And impact entrepreneurs are the epitome of that. They're the ones adapting to the changing world, not just to survive, but to thrive and make a positive impact through affirmative action. Think about it. We're living in a time of unprecedented challenges: climate change, inequality, poverty. These issues are pressing and they demand innovative solutions. Impact entrepreneurs are stepping up to the plate like nobody else. They're creating businesses that not only generate profits, but also contribute to a more sustainable and equitable future. With this, let's talk about the topic of the day: impact entrepreneurship. Now, you might be thinking, isn't this just corporate social responsibility? Well, the short answer is that it isn't. It's more than CSR. It's at the least CSR Ultra Pro Max. And the long answer is that while the two terms are generally used interchangeably, impact entrepreneurship came into being because, unfortunately, over the last few years, CSR as a concept was reduced to essentially mean a strategic marketing initiative rather than bringing about any real change. The ideals of impact entrepreneurship, on the other hand, are baked into the very DNA of a business. It's not just a side project or a marketing gimmick. It is something that flows in the veins of the core mission of a business. It's essentially the intersection of business and social good. It's about using entrepreneurial principles to address societal and environmental challenges. And the definition that explains this concept of impact entrepreneurship the best comes from the CEO and chair of the Ashoka Foundation, Bill Drayton, who once said that what we need is to reverse 3 centuries of walling the for profit and non profit sectors off from one another. He makes so much sense as he talks about this opportunity laden marketplace between the for profit sector, which is looked at as a zero social return sector, and non profit sector, which is typically construed as a zero return on capital sector. Impact entrepreneurship bridges this particular gap, creating businesses that generate both financial returns as well as positive social impact. This is precisely the reason industries need to upgrade from CSR to impact entrepreneurship. Because if you look at the enormous diversity of for profit finance industry as opposed to the monolithic nature of the non profit world, you'll notice that what's missing is the for profit finance industry to begin by considering this as an opportunity that deserves its resources and, in my opinion, all of its guap. And I understand that to some people, this conversation might sound very idealistic, impractical, way too ambitious, and more altruistic than humanly possible. But I'm here to reassure you that there are several driving forces that are nurturing impact entrepreneurs across the globe today. As a generation, we have seen the shift within ourselves from being just profit driven to wanting to be a more purposeful and purpose driven generation. I think there has been no better time in our collective history to recognize that business can be a force of social good and a catalyst for positive change. In my view, the two biggest drivers of this purpose driven impact entrepreneurship are the UN SDGs, or the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and the advent of Industry 5.0. Let's briefly touch upon both of these and see what they point to. In 2015, when the UN identified and distilled the contemporary global issues into understandable goals, it was done so with an aim to create a more accountable generation to bolster general well being globally. The result was the formulation of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which are 17 tangible global goals that provided a blueprint for a sustainable future. Since then, they've inspired countless entrepreneurs to develop innovative solutions as SDGs became a literal call for action to individuals to break the inertia of how we have been living and to lead a more purposeful and a more responsible life in ways that can contribute in alleviating one of these goals by 2030. If you'd like to read more about the SDGs, I'll be sharing the relevant links that I'm going to be talking about in this podcast in the description box for you so you can access the material right here. For now, know that SDGs have become a widely used touchstone for sustainability and resilience across sectors. 9 years ago, in industry talk, it was an anomaly to ask ourselves how we are doing. But since then, there has been a constant and conscious decoupling of impact from being the responsibility of solely the nonprofit sector to it becoming a mandate for the for profit sector as well. And today, being able to collectively ask ourselves how we are doing and actually having a clear cut, measurable way to respond is crucial for everyone thanks to the adoption of these SDGs. Along with the UN SDGs, the burgeoning community of impact entrepreneurs is powered by the wave of the fifth industrial revolution, which you might know as 5IR or Industry 5.0 or the cognitive age. If Industry 4.0, as the fourth industrial revolution was called, ushered in the age of disruption in every sector, then Industry 5.0 is about adding a layer to that by taking a human centric approach to technology. In 2021, the European Union took a bold step towards the future of industry. They released a report called Industry 5.0, which builds on the foundation of 4.0. The report aimed to iron out the challenges we collectively faced with Industry 4.0 and gives us a vision to harmonize human and machine intelligence. This new vision did not just talk about technology, its development, and its subsequent use, but it spoke heavily about people and about the planet. As the discourse on this transformational point in history grew, it became amply clear that Industry 5.0 was going to be all about making production more sustainable, more ethical, and worker centric. In its current version, it is about using cutting edge technologies like artificial intelligence and Internet of Things to improve efficiency and productivity, but also to create a better world. That is how the European Union led the revolution in setting a new standard for industrial innovation by prioritizing human well being and environmental responsibility. In our subsequent episodes, we are going to be discussing blueprints such as the European Green Deal and the Digital Age Agenda that give them a competitive edge as they create new industries as well as craft the framework within which they would operate to make the EU the world's first climate neutral and digitally transformed continent by 2030. That's how impact entrepreneurship evolved, on the shoulders of UN SDGs and the fifth industrial revolution. Whether we like it or not, whether we want it or not, we have no choice but to move beyond the traditional profit driven model in every sector towards a more holistic approach that prioritizes people and the planet. Imagine a world where companies aren't just about making money, they're about making a difference. A world where innovation isn't just about the next big tech gadget, but about creating solutions that improve the quality of all our lives. This is the vision of impact entrepreneurship. Let's take Patagonia, for instance, one of the largest outdoor apparel and sporting gear brands, and its self imposed Earth tax. In my opinion, the company is a fabulous case study that has emerged as a beacon of corporate responsibility. For those who don't know, since 1985, Patagonia has pledged 1% of sales to the preservation and restoration of the natural environment. They've awarded over $140 million in cash and in kind donations to domestic and international grassroots environmental groups working to defend our air, land, and water. They've masterfully woven environmental stewardship into the fabric of their business model, demonstrating beautifully that profitability and purpose are not mutually exclusive. By championing causes like fair labor practices, organic materials, and climate action, Patagonia has cultivated a loyal following and a lasting legacy that they have rightfully earned. But they are not alone. There is also the revolutionary work of Grameen Bank in Bangladesh, which is a microfinance institution that has upended traditional banking models. By extending credit to the impoverished, particularly women, Grameen Bank has empowered millions to break free from the cycle of poverty in the country. The ripple effects of these microloans are far reaching, fostering economic growth, social upliftment, as well as gender equality in the long term. And these two stories are of entrepreneurs that stuck to their guns to make a positive impact. And these are just two of the many examples I can cite of how businesses have the potential to transcend their profit driven nature and become catalysts for positive change through purpose driven affirmative action. By taking the triple bottom line approach of the three P's, people, planet, and prosperity, by aligning their operations with ethical principles and societal needs, businesses can not only enhance their brand reputation, which is a big advantage for any business, but also contribute meaningfully to a more sustainable and equitable world. Last but not the least, let's not forget the basic human element. We are all interconnected, and our actions have ripple effects for all of us. We stand at the precipice of a new era, a time of boundless potential and unprecedented challenges. The 21st century, with its rapid technological advancements and global interconnectedness, offers us the opportunity to reshape our world. Yet, as we soar to new heights of innovation, we must not forget the very foundation upon which our progress rests: humanity. God knows, being an IP and tech lawyer myself, I know how easy it is to get caught up in the allure of disruptive technologies and groundbreaking discoveries on a daily basis. We are all driven by a desire to solve problems, to make a difference. But if I can urge you to take a beat and think about true impact, hopefully sooner rather than later, you'll realize that impact is not solely measured by the scale of our innovations and the pace of our developing technologies. When it comes down to the brass tacks, impact will always be about the depth of our compassion and the breadth of our empathy. As impact entrepreneurs, each one of us has the power to ignite positive change. We can create businesses that not only generate profit, but also uplift communities, protect our planet, and advance social justice. But with great power comes great responsibility. We must ensure that our pursuits are guided by ethical principles and a genuine commitment to making the world a better place. And as lofty as these words might sound right now, the responsibility I'm talking about here is pretty darn basic. We must remember that we are not mere cogs in a machine, but we are intricate threads woven into the tapestry of life itself. Our actions and our choices on a daily basis, no matter how small, ripple through time and space, affecting countless lives. Let us strive to be those ripples that create waves of positive change. So, as we navigate the complexities of this age, let us embrace the power of impact entrepreneurship with passion and purpose. Let us be the leaders, no matter our profession, who not only shape the future, but also safeguard the values that define us as human beings. As Harry Haugen, the founder of the International Justice Mission, so eloquently put it, when our grandchildren ask us where we were when the voiceless and the vulnerable in our era needed leaders of compassion and purpose, I hope we can say that we showed up and that we showed up on time. Let's prepare for the time when our grandchildren ask us the same question so we can make sure that we answer with pride and conviction. Let's use our shared humanity as a catalyst for action. Together, we can build a future where everyone thrives. Let's leave no man behind. Thank you for tuning in to the Lock, Stock and Barrel podcast. You know the drill. You can subscribe to our channel on the platform of your choice. We are available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Substack. Until next time, let's make an impact.